Dismissive avoidant attachment styles often struggle deeply with these three things when it comes to dating and building a successful dating life or dating experiences. And often they have no idea that it's even happening. So, in today's video, we're going to cover three things dismissive avoidants should do differently when dating so they don't sabotage the experience by accident. Number one, dismissive avoidants, when they first go on dates, need to learn how impactful it is to ask open questions. What do I mean by this? I have had so many dismissive avoidant clients over the years who go on a date, and when they recount the experience, they tell me oftentimes that the person they were on a date with asked them tons of questions about their past dating history or their life or their future or what they want or where they live, where their friends are. All of these questions to really get to know somebody, which is obviously the intention of going on a first date to begin with. But a lot of times, dismissive avoidants respond to these questions by giving very short answers and not asking questions back. So, for example, if somebody on a first date says, "Oh, what do you do for work?" They might say, "I'm in this career path," and just say whatever that career path is. "I'm a recruiter," but not actually say something like, "And I like it, I enjoy it," or share anything more personal or deep about it. And then they often also can struggle to ask anything back. What do you do? Do you like it? And what this causes is a lot of dismissive avoidance on their first date to have things fall kind of flat or to not feel like there's a lot of chemistry and connection, because so much of a first date going well is that there's a chemistry, a connection, and that often comes from open communication, sharing about your own inner world a little bit and asking somebody something back. Number two, a huge place that dismissive avoidants often go wrong is in their text communication. I used to have dismissive avoidant clients all the time come in to my office when I worked in my private practice, and they would come and say to me things like, "Hey, I don't know why things aren't going well with this person. They seem really interested, but it just kind of feels like we're a little bit stuck. We've been seeing each other for 6 or 7 weeks, and the communication's not really going anywhere. And I want it to." And funnily enough, I would look at their text messages. They would often share them or read them to me. And what I would find is that dismissive avoidants would do things like close the conversation when it came to texting. It's such an easy thing to miss. So, for example, if somebody says to you, "Hey, how's your day going? What are you up to?" They might say something like, "It's going well, not much." And then put the ball back in the court of the other person. Well, what this causes is there to be unnecessary pressure on the other person to keep making conversation and allowing that momentum in dating to continue, which eventually or inevitably will be tiring and will often give signs to the other person that you're disinterested, even if that's not the case. So I would often tell dismissive avoidants, hey, make sure you share something that's a little more personal, similar to what we just talked about when it comes to dating, and make sure you open the conversation over text as well by, you guessed it, asking something back. So as much as that first rule applies to dating and actually being in front of somebody, it also applies to texting, to phone calls, and communication in general. I'm going to tell you a third point that is completely unrelated and probably the most impactful thing dismissive avoidants need to learn when it comes to dating. But before I do, I just want to let you know that just for this month, we have a course you can check out fully for free called How to Master the Dating Stage of Relationships. And it comes with, fully for free for life, our attachment styles and sex course. It's one of our most popular courses. It talks all about attachment styles and their patterns around intimacy, the things that bother them, the things that they appreciate, the things that cause them to become afraid or shut down, and basically just general patterns for each attachment style as a whole. So if you want to keep that course for life, it's over a $200 value, and you can access it today by using the link below that will give you access to all of our courses, but you get to keep that one for life for free. So the third major thing dismissive avoidants often struggle with so much is not moving from fear. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, dismissive avoidants, because they don't love to be vulnerable, as we know, they often do a lot of flaw finding in relationships. So the moment they start attaching and developing more serious feelings for somebody, they basically start getting in their head about why it might not work out anyways, why there could be problems in this relationship in the future. And they basically start to try to create emotional distance from that person. This is not a conscious process. It's not something they sit down and think on a Monday morning like, oh, because I'm starting to develop feelings for this person, I better start telling myself all the reasons it may not work and why I would still be fine. No, they don't consciously realize they're doing this. This is a subconscious strategy to create distance so they don't have to feel too vulnerable or run the risk of getting too hurt or being in a relationship where their needs aren't getting met and they just don't feel fulfilled. And so as a result, Dismissive avoidants will often flaw find. And really, what this does is it causes them to move through their dating experience from a place of fear instead of truth. They start thinking of all the things they don't want to happen, and they rehash all of these little things, and they start nitpicking flaws of other people and making them into something bigger than they might actually be, all as a way to convince themselves that they'd be fine if it doesn't work out. But in doing that, that actually creates a big focus on the negative and often creates this wall between themselves and somebody else and doesn't allow them to see that person's good qualities, amazing parts, because they're too busy focusing elsewhere. So that's a really important thing to keep in check, to keep in mind, and to recognize that flaw finding is just a strategy to protect yourself from your own fear of attaching. It's definitely something worth working on. So that's it for today. I hope this is helpful for you, or if you're on the receiving end of this in the past, it can be really meaningful to understand some of their patterns around dating. And thank you so much for stopping by and for watching. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel, or hit that notification bell so you don't miss our video tomorrow about the fearful avoidant attachment style and dating.